From being the center of controversy to forcing MLB rule changes, these are 10 things you didn't know about Shohei Ohtani.
Hopefully, I will not need this T-shirt the next time I'm up here.
And you probably didn't know about number 10 on our list, because back in 2012, the Dodgers straight up denied Ohtani an MLB career. You see, Ohtani wanted to move directly to the major leagues after he finished high school. And in 2012, he even announced that he would pursue a career in the MLB rather than turn professional in Japan. But then, something weird happened. The Los Angeles Dodgers became Ohtani's top choice MLB team. But there was one problem. They weren't prepared to let him hit and pitch. So instead, Ohtani opted to stay in Japan and sign with the Nippon Ham Fighters. But the reasons why he attracted major league teams as a teenager started out when he was just a kid, because his coach took coaching to another level, a strange level. You see, Ohtani was what the Japanese call a yaku shonen, basically a kid who lives, eats, and breathes baseball. And he lived on campus during high school and was only allowed to go home 6 days out of the year. But that's not even the wildest part. His coach, Hiroshi Sasaki, assigned him chores throughout the day to teach him humility. Yeah, so Ohtani, who was the greatest Japanese high school player in history, was cleaning toilets. And somehow, his high school story gets even weirder. Because this dude didn't just play baseball. While he was breaking records on the field, he was also setting records in the pool. Yeah. And real quick, if you're liking this video, make sure to subscribe. We'll be covering every MLB player just like this. So in high school, he was also a standout swimmer on his school swim team, and his coach even stated he was good enough for the Olympics. But back to baseball, Ohtani threw the fastest pitch ever recorded in history. And at just 18 years old, he threw a 99-mile-per-hour fastball.
160キロだ! 見逃しの三振、手が出ない!
Setting a Japanese high school record. And setting all those records is how he signed the craziest contract in the history of sports.
Introduce the newest member of the Los Angeles Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani.
After signing with the Fighters in 2012 and the Angels in 2017, he signed the most insane deal anyone could ever imagine. And we already know it's worth $700 million. But somehow, that's not even close to the wildest part. He's deferring 97% of it. So for the next 10 years, he's only making $2 million. But for the next 10 years after that, he'll be making $68 million. And that's whether he's with the Dodgers or not. He's also getting some cool perks, like a luxury suite for every home game and an interpreter. And as great as all that is, it also sparked some major controversy.
I don't think it helps that the number one face is a dude that needs an interpreter so you can understand what the hell he's saying in this country.
Yeah, that's Stephen A. Smith, and he's not a big fan of Ohtani using an interpreter. But that's not the only problem Ohtani is facing, because some major critics and fans aren't so happy about his contract. The loophole of deferred payments means they can go out and sign other superstars and form a super team, a luxury that smaller markets might not have. Though it's important to note that nothing about this contract is against the collective bargaining agreement. That's not even the part that pissed fans off the most. Because when they saw the fine print on his contract, they absolutely lost it. You see, Ohtani and his team put in a clause stating that he can opt out at any time if owner Mark Walter or president Andrew Friedman lose their roles with the team. In other words, Walter and Friedman aren't going anywhere. Many fans perceive it as an unprecedented level of player influence over the front office decisions. Now, with all this money he's making, you'd expect him to go out and buy, a private jet like A-Rod did, right? Nope. It's actually the complete opposite. You see, at the age of 16, Ohtani was making $2 million a year. And at this time, his mother managed his finances and provided him with a monthly allowance of just $1,000. Since joining the MLB, his habits have stayed the exact same. And for reference, he's now making $2,430 every minute. That's 2.5 times his monthly salary by the time they stop singing the national anthem. I think it's safe to say that he won't go broke like some other superstars. Speaking of going broke, I bet you didn't know that Ohtani broke some MLB rules. You see, before Ohtani, any pitcher was allowed to hit for himself in the lineup.
He's at the wall, 40-40, look
But after the pitcher was removed from the game, they were no longer allowed to bat. This obviously would create problems with any team Ohtani was on, so some new rules had to be implemented. Now, a new rule enables a pitcher to remain in the batting order as a DH after being replaced by a relief pitcher. And that rule proved itself to be noteworthy because in 2021, Ohtani became the first pitcher ever elected to the Home Run Derby.
You say Kiki about.
Now, wait a second.
Prior to the All-Star break in 2021, Ohtani ranked third in the majors with 21 home runs.
And a home run here in Tampa St. Pete. That didn't take long. Oh, man. Too sexy for the catwalk.
And what's even more unbelievable, Ohtani will also be the first Japanese-born player to participate in the event. Yeah, even Ichiro never batted in the Derby before. And while we're speaking of greats, this Babe Ruth comparison just doesn't seem real. When reviewing their first 674 games, their stats are almost identical. The Samurai really is the modern-day Bambino, which makes sense considering he was at the center of the greatest moment in baseball history.
3-2 slider.
In 2023, Ohtani got the nod to represent Japan at the World Baseball Classic. And aside from it setting the record for the most attendance in history, one moment would break the entire baseball world. With Ohtani needing to protect a 3-2 lead in the 9th, he had arguably the toughest lineup to pitch against. First, the reigning Major League batting champion, Jeff McNeil.
McNeil takes ball four, just a little bit low.
Then, Mookie Betts.
Mookie on the ground to second. We'll see if they can turn two. That's one. That's two. It's a double play.
And finally, Mike Trout.
He throws. Trout strikes out swinging.
Yeah, he struck out his teammate and good friend to win the World Baseball Classic for Japan. One of the greatest moments in baseball history. The two-way superstar was then named MVP of the Classic. And I bet you don't know what he did as soon as he won. Yeah, this dude went to sleep, because that's his favorite thing to do. According to Ohtani, he'll often sleep 12 or more hours in a single day and frequently works naps into his baseball routine. He even has custom pillows stuffed with extra material in order to maintain their height, though he doesn't view it as sleeping and instead calls it recovery. Back in 2017, he signed a sleep conditioning support contract with Japanese bedding manufacturer Nishikawa. They've been making him custom mattresses and pillows ever since. The company takes regular measurements using cutting-edge equipment that enables 360-degree visualization of his body muscles, skeletal structure, and any misalignments, thus creating mattresses and pillows that best fit his body. They even designed a portable mattress just for him to use for the World Baseball Classic in Miami.
And first pitch crushing! Right by him at 100 miles per hour,
That's
2 down.
Serious cheese on the corner.
First pitch. Fly ball, right center field. Series going back. He's at the track. He's at the wall. 40-40! Walk-off grand slam!
All right, this pillow talk has me a little sleepy, but these videos right here will be sure to wake you up. These are some of the wildest moments in MLB history. Go ahead, check it out. What are you waiting for?